Hi everyone. So I'm done updating the tables in the assessment database. So if I go to um, at random view any of the tables, um, you can see that the total scores are now there. So we can check for English just to test. And yeah, so we are good with math, English, and yes. So the next thing we're going to do is, now that we have the total scores, and we would like to mimic what the central database in our Excel workbook look like. So we'd have the student admission number, student name of student, then individual subject, total average, and the scores. And fortunately enough, for each of the table, we have something that is mutual to each of the tables. So the student column is mutual to each of the table, and they do have a relationship, which uh, is that they are a foreign key for the student table in the SMS underscore S database, which is what we have here. So now what we can now do is do a join. Now, so we are going to join each of these tables by the student name and just the total score. So by the third and the last column. So in order for us to do that, we can just so I'm going to write select, and so I'll do them by in alphabetical order by the hierarchy of how they are displayed here in our assessment database. So let's say from agric, so I would say AG as agric, yeah, and I will say join. I'm not going to do an inner join, just join bio as B on whether I want to join them ag dot student equal b dot student. So I can continue the join again, join, so it will be chem, maybe give it an alias C on ag dot student equal c dot student. And so we could take a look at what the table looks like. So it looks like a very long table, but what we want is just student and total scores. So what we can now do is to just call, say, ag dot student, and we can see ag dot total underscore agric underscore score, comma, then we would say b dot total underscore bio underscore score, and then we would say c dot total underscore chem chem underscore score. Yep, so we can say, we can give them aliases, so as chemistry, so that they are human readable, as biology, as agriculture, yeah. So if you run it and see, hopefully it doesn't give us an error. So you can see, so it's now looking, it's beginning to look like what we have here, like that. So I'm just going to pause here and do that of computer science, English, geology, geography, literature, math, physics, and technical drawing. I'll just write all the codes, the scripts, and yeah, we'll back after that. And so I'm done joining all of the tables at the similar column, and I've given the total score for each of the table an alias, human readable alias. So if I select everything and run the script, so you can see everything is beginning to look like this Excel workbook. The next thing we want to do is to give the admission. So we want to also link, the student name. And we know that if we go to our student profile, we could just, so we say select everything from the database where our student profile is dot student. And if we run it, okay, now I do something wrong. Let's see, it looks like I did something wrong. No, it's not. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so I think, yeah. So we can see that the admission number is also similar to the student in this particular table here. Our combined subject scores table. So we can also add that to this particular table. So all we just need to do is to do a join, and we are going to join from a different database though. So we would have to call out the database join the database dot student on ag.student equal to this, and we can now call after admission we can say ss dot first name comma ss dot last underscore name comma, and I'm going to highlight everything again, run it, hopefully everything is fine, and so you can see it's now beginning to look like this. So we could further do a concatenate so that we'll have names of students. So we'll just say here we'll do a concat. Concat is also a function in SQL as names of students, and we could give it a space and say comma and space and run the query again. So you can now see that we have something quite similar to this. If we so want, we could also make this admission number. So we'll just give this an alias as admission number, just to make it human readable as much as possible. And so you see we have exactly what we have here now. So the next thing we want to do is to add total score, and to enable us to do that, we can decide to say let's see, we can make this particular query we've written a subquery and say select everything from, that's all the column from this query, and you always name your query, you always name, so this query now is now a subquery to the new query we are writing, which is just to read the table. And so you always name your subquery because it's now a table as something, so we can say subquery, And the other thing we want to do now is to, so it's still going to give us the same thing. So the other thing we want to do now is to now do the aggregation, which is the total sum of the individual subjects. So in order for us to do that, we can just say put a bracket. So we'll do mathematics plus English plus that's each of these aliases, agree, like that. So I already have written this somewhere, so I'll just go there and copy it. And so when I'm done with the aggregation, I'll just rename it as give it an alias and still run it, and hopefully it, oh, that's interesting. So total score, which is what we have here, so you can see it's coming to light. So the other thing we can now add is maybe the rank. And so in order for us to do that, we would add a Windows function. So we just need to say comma row. So we could do it two ways. We can add a Windows function inside our subquery we've written over, and so we say as we have to always rank in class. So we have to always name our Windows function. So by the time I just run it now, it's not going to give us anything interesting. So to just rank it by 1. So what we want to do is actually to order by total score. But unfortunately, we'll just have to call this same. We can't call the alias because this is still within, it is also within the select. So we cannot call the alias. So we'll say order by, and we'll just do this. It's pretty long. The subquery is getting long. So you can see it as, oh, so I was supposed to do in descending order. So I would say descending, and I'm just gonna click on this. I don't know, is it showing me that? Okay, so it has done it. It has ranked the total score and sorted the total score in descending order. So this is the highest, followed by this. So first in class, second in class, like that. This is one way to go about it. The other way to go about it is that we can actually make this a subquery, and so we can let me just copy this and paste it somewhere. Okay, somewhere around here. So instead of having to have some long query, subquery, we can two things. We can do another subquery or a CTE, a common table expression. So we can say with CTE as, then these are our CTE. This is where it ends, and we'll now do select all and say from CTE. Then we can now do our rank. And so this time around, I will just say total score. Yep. And that will be it. This is another way to go about it with CTE. So it gave us the same thing. And so if you also want to, if you so want, you can actually make it a subquery again. and do your Windows function if you so want. And so there are many ways you can actually go about this. I don't really know which one is faster in terms of the query. I can't really tell you which is faster in terms of the query. I'm not sure. Maybe some expert can inform us about that. So I will do select all from, and the first subquery root is now another subquery. I can just say as s, end it, and I'll just do my rank. So I can just copy this, Control C. I'll now put comma, paste, and run it again. And you can see it. So you could use different representation of your SQL script to read, to do a join and read the table, and it give you a nice display like this. So hopefully in the next video, we're actually going to connect our SQL to our Power BI for visualization, and maybe create a result that will mimic the one we created in Microsoft Excel. So something like this. It will also be dynamic and, visually appealing. Although I'm not very good with colors and designs, but I'll try my best to do the import. So thank you very much. Before I leave, I just wanted to show us the capabilities of data analytics or a data analyst, and you guys can see so what some of the problem solving skills with your knowledge of tools, Microsoft Excel, SQL, Python, as well as Power BI, to solve problems. So in the next video, hopefully we are going to integrate it with Power BI, and we are hoping at the end of the series we might convert this into a web application and using Python, one of Python's web framework called Django at the end of the day. But depending on how the request, or it depends on how successful this particular series is. So if you guys have any questions, you have any suggestions, or have any project you want us to work on, maybe you're having difficulty at work or assignments, you guys can actually make suggestions on the comment section, and I would respond to it. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.